guys, so today is going to be a little bit of a different video. I've been wanting to do something like this for a while, so I think that today is going to be today's pretty much just, I think, the best day to do this and just talk about pretty much what it is that it takes to be pretty much a videographer in 2026. Just because I feel like there's a lot going on right now in social media in terms of advice, what to do, what gear to buy, picking a niche, or which way to go as a videographer, or if this is something that you're looking to do full time, or if this is just a hobby for you and you want to learn, or if this is just a hobby for you and you want to make it a business. So pretty much just it's going to be just a yapping session. So for those that don't know me, my name is Yader. I'm a videographer based in Miami, and pretty much I've been making content full time for about 2 years now. But just to give you guys a little bit of a backstory about me, so I was actually not born in the United States. I was born in Nicaragua, and I moved to Miami actually when I was just 11 years old. I've always been a creative person my whole life. Since I was little, I've been making music. I know how to play guitar, I know how to play piano, and some drums as well. And honestly, my first time, like when I noticed that, hey, I have somewhat of a creative mind, was actually when I started making music at just of the age of 12 years old actually. I remember downloading FL Studio, and that's where I started making house music actually. So, which actually to this point in my life, I still spend some time, maybe a couple hours during the week where I just experiment, and yeah. But growing up, even in that process of making music, I always had a camera with me. I always filmed me making music. I always made edits when I used to actually go fishing with my friends back in my freshman year of high school, and as well as when I used to go on vacation with my family. I used to take actually a GoPro with me and make edits. And then moving past that, I actually got into airsoft, and I used to record all my airsoft games with my friends. I also got into video games, and when I got into video games was actually when I learned to edit the most. Because I remember back in 2018, and a lot of you guys are actually going to laugh at this, but I used to play a lot of Fortnite actually, and I used to record my videos. I used to live stream, and that's where pretty much I learned to edit. I remember on Premiere Pro, all of my Fortnite videos, and I started editing for other creators online. And then I had a Twitter account. I grew up Twitter. I grew up Discord. I grew up on Discord communities, and a lot of people actually started to hit me up to edit their Fortnite content, and that's pretty much how I polished my editing skills. Moving past that, I actually picked up a camera, which actually was a Canon M50. But prior to that, I had I think it was like a Canon T6 or T5, which like I had since I was young. But I do remember getting my Canon M50, and my only lens was a 50mm. I do remember having that camera, and then my friends started getting cars at the age of like 17, 18 years old. So that's when they introduced me to automotive photography, and they just asked me, hey, can you take some pictures of my car? And I was like, I mean, of course. So we went to a park during sunset, and that's when I first discovered that, well, I can actually make these things look decent. And I'm not gonna lie, until then it was pretty bad. Like if I look back, or I'll put like some pictures right now of what that looked like, because I vividly remember taking my friend's Mustang to a park during sunset, and I thought it was pretty cool. So it got to the point where pretty much I was taking a lot of car pictures and posting them online, and I saw that a lot of people were were actually liking them and commenting. So I didn't know how to even make this a business, if I'm gonna be honest with you. But the way that I set it up was into a how I actually wrote it down. It was kind of into a three-step plan, if you actually want to call it that. So this part of the video, or what I'm about to talk about, is actually mainly for those guys who maybe do own a camera, own a cheap camera, a beginner camera, I'm gonna say, and you want to maybe pursue a career, or you want to make this a side hustle. Pretty much, this is what I would do if I were in your shoes once again, and it's personally what I did. So step one is going to be, obviously, um, you have to have a steady income at first. At this point in my life, I was, I think, 18 years old. Yeah, I was 18. I'm 22 now, so this was about 4 years ago. I remember I was 18, and I was actually working a part-time job at a swimming school, teaching kids how to swim. So I remember that I did have some steady income, and I had set the goal of me saving enough money to be able to buy a better camera and a better lens. Which, by the way, I'm going to get into gear, or maybe I'll make a separate video talking about exactly what it is that you need to have to actually even get started. But pretty much, I set the goal of saving about $4,000 in 1 year. So I give myself a year. Anyone that is watching this, I think a year it's possible. If anything, I think a year is maybe too long actually to save up $4,000. If you were to ask me, if you have a full-time job, I think you can save up $4,000 probably maybe in 6 months. Depending on your situation. But step one would be that, and making sure that you have a plan when you start. Okay, so if I were you, I'll probably take note of this and maybe turn it into a plan. So, step one, save up for as long as you want. Set that goal, but make sure that you write it down somewhere. That for me was the biggest thing. I used to carry, and I mean I still do actually, it's nowhere here, but a pocket notebook. It's a notebook of this size that you can fit in your pocket. And pretty much there I would write down all my goals, and I still like to write down all my goals, whether there are from 3 months from now, 6 months from now, up to a year, of where I want to be in life, whether that be financially, relationships, or even health wise, when it comes to like my weight, when it comes to working out, and all of those kind of things. So after I had the $4,000, and let's say that now you've saved up, the amount of money that it's required, or your goal that you set to save up to be able to buy the equipment that you need to buy, for you to start off actually making money. Um, After this, I still continue working on my job. It's not like I got the equipment and I chose to, just boom, that's it, leave and say I'm just gonna freelance and hope I get clients. That's where I got it all wrong. And honestly, I spent a decent time. I would say I spent about 6 months, 6 to 8 months, I think, reaching out to people, reaching out to businesses, and honestly, I got no response from anybody. And it got to the point where I actually started to go out into dealerships. And I've seen that method work. I could work depending on your situation, depending on where you are. But after a while, I remember reaching out to a creative director for this company that I have been following for about 2 years now. It was actually a car rental. It was a luxury car rental business out here in Miami. And honestly, I reached out to the creative director of that company, which, if you've been following me, you know that I've pretty much worked my entire 2 years with him now. His name is Max, and honestly, Max has been pretty much a mentor to me when it comes to the business of this, honestly. And I'm very grateful that he took his time, and he has taken his time to teach me everything, and also support, I would say, my career, because if it wasn't for him, I honestly I wouldn't have gotten to where I am now. I would say, and honestly, I think my camera skills also wouldn't be where they are today. So once you get to the point and you've spent all the money, you have to tell yourself that you have to go out there and make it happen. You have to get some type of connection somehow. It does not matter who it is. And again, it could be a marketing person, it could be a mentor like Max, it could be anyone that can help you get to that point. And where a lot of videographers actually fail is their ego. When you start, a lot of videographers have an ego, and it's hard to beat, because I remember being in that situation as well. And I'm gonna tell you guys why. Because when you're starting off, a lot of videographers think that because they own this piece of gear, that they're gonna be able to make great content, or because they own this light is going to fix everything in their production, or because they have, I don't know, they have a specific lens. Like, it's gotten to that point, or because they want to color a specific way. And honestly, you do have to know how to use everything. Like, you have to know how to use the best equipment. It's great to have all the information. It's great to know what camera is the best. It's great to know how to color things. It's great to know why shooting in different color profiles may be better in some situations than other. It's all good to know, but the reality is that no one, and I mean nobody, that's going to pay you cares about what camera or what equipment or how much your light costs or how much your lens costs. Nobody cares. Your client is not going to care how you color from S-Log to the final thing. They, trust me, they don't care. They don't care. What they care about is seeing a good product at the end that represents their company or their product, whatever it is that you're shooting. It looks good. It could be an ad, it could be a YouTube video, it could be whatever. It just needs to look good. Okay? That's pretty much it. Okay, so fast forward to today. Pretty much, I've seen a lot of stuff online that that I would love to address, because I feel like if you're a beginner or if you want to get into this space, you may look at all these things and you may feel overwhelmed, or you may feel like you're only successful if you get to this point. Okay, and this is what I'm gonna talk about. So I live in Miami, okay, and I see it all. I see and I'm gonna say how it is. I see all these videographers making $10, $15, $20,000. We see it all. You see it all the time, and not only videographers, but we obviously see everyone in social media who is making internet money or stupid money, right? But the thing about making that amount of money with videography, which I'm gonna tell you guys, it is possible. Not saying it's not possible at all, okay? It's definitely possible to make past $7,000 a month making videos and under a year, like, and it's also possible for people to make 15, 20, 30. Why? Because I know people who are making this type of money by doing this, genuinely. Now, are they only videographers? No, they obviously have systems and ads and all of this, okay? But my point is, I don't want you guys to get started into videography and you're, let's say, 6 months in, right? And you're only making, I don't know, let's say $2,000, $3,000, okay? Let's say that's what you're making after 6 months or after a year. I don't want you guys to look at that and say, well, if I'm making this much more, this much money, and this guy on YouTube, it's, I don't know, making 8, for example, let's just say that, or 10, then somehow you have failed at this, okay? And or you're doing something wrong. I don't want you guys to fall into that trap, because honestly, again, there's a lot of guys who claim also that they're making this type of money, and they're not. They're generally not making this type of money. And like, I'm gonna be honest with you guys, right? I don't own a luxury car. At least I don't think I do. I actually drive a Alfa Romeo. I do live in Miami. I still live with my parents. I'm going to school here. I own a boat, and like, I just love outdoors. I love spending my money on other things than going ahead and, for example, I don't know, getting a more expensive car, right? Or getting an apartment somewhere, just so I can make I don't know, videos with a view behind me instead of just a plain wall, right? So yes, those things are nice to have, but I don't want you guys to define your success just because of the materialistic things that you have or that you can afford while making a career out of this, okay? Because I love cameras. I love making videos. I love taking photos. I love every type of art. That is my passion, okay? So the fact that I get to even live off or pay my bills because I do something that I love, I think that is a privilege, and I think that anyone who even gets to pay some things, even if you're not, even if it's a part-time, even if you're doing this part-time, I think it's a privilege to have, to be able to do any of this, honestly. And that's just, again, that is just my opinion, okay? That's genuinely my opinion, and you can feel however you want to feel. And maybe some of you, this is not what you want to hear. Some of you guys want to hear that, you know, to be successful, yes, you have to be a 15K a month, and you have to drive a Mercedes, and you have to have the apartment in downtown. And if that's what you want, trust me, guys, it's, again, you can have it. You just have to go for it and believe in yourself. But for me, I think it's a blessing to have everything that I have, just because I get to make videos with other people, and I'm thankful for everyone that's around me. I'm thankful for everyone that has helped me get to this point, you know. And I'm also thankful to God, because again, we wouldn't be here if it wasn't for God as well. And I want to speak to you, to those guys who want to get into this because of the business side of things, right? So pretty much my recommendation to you guys would be, if you're money hungry, and that's great, because I think we all should be, honestly. At the end of the day, money, it's what we live off. So if you are, if you do want to get into this because of the money, and because you see that there's a lot of money to be made, that is great. You have an advantage, because now you see the business side of this. My recommendation is going to be, please learn everything about cameras. That's going to be the easiest thing you could do, right? And the best thing that you can do is also start as soon as possible, because working with a camera, I feel like, has been the same way as making music, right? The longer you do it, the better you're going to get. And that is pretty much like it doesn't, there's no shortcut to this. Like, really, there is no shortcut to this. The more you shoot, the more videos you film, the better you're going to get. And think of it like when you go to the gym, right? 1 week you do a certain amount, next week you try again to do a higher amount, and eventually you keep going up, and then you keep on hitting PRs, And then that's pretty much what's going to happen with videography and photography. You're going to get more comfortable, you're going to get faster, and you're just going to be able to work around any situation that is thrown at you. Now, if you are watching this video and somehow you made it to this point, which honestly, if you made it to this point, you are insane, and you probably do want to get into this, you know, and you probably have a passion for this if you've listened to my story and you've listened to me yap for, I don't even know how long at this point, probably like 20-25 minutes, I think, maybe less. I don't know, I can't really see the timer. But I want to open up the doors for those who do want to learn, you know, whether you are passionate about this because of the business side of things, or you are someone who has been a creative person their whole life, and you may need some help, you may need some guidance. I'm going to leave my email on the description. I'm also going to leave my Instagram in the description, and you guys can obviously just reach out to me through those emails or to my Instagram. If you're in Miami, it's gonna be even better for you, because what I want is I want to help as many people as possible. It doesn't matter if you are older than me, younger than me, honestly. If you want to get into the space and you don't know how to, send me a message, send me an email. I'll gladly help with whatever it is that I can't, with any advice. Okay, so with that being said, now the World Cup is going on. The United States is playing today. Mexico actually played yesterday. I am not from Mexico, but I am rooting for Mexico. USA plays today, and we're going to go to a really, really good spot here in Florida, South Florida. If you're in South Florida, you know, the one sports restaurant, sport girl, whatever it is, honestly. All right, guys. So, like I was saying, one of the most, if not the most popular restaurant here in South Florida. I mean, I'm pretty sure that if you're from South Florida, you probably know what I'm talking about. Okay, Flanagan's, you can't go wrong with it. We're gonna get some wings probably. I don't know. Pretty much, we got here, and I mean, now unfortunately we knew this was gonna happen. We kind of have to wait a bit. Honestly, I would be surprised if we get in there in less than 30 minutes, but honestly I doubt it. We did get on the line like before we even got here, but our table was ready. And the thing about Flanagan's is they have a 2-minute bullshit, like you gotta go get your table in like 2 minutes, if not, like, you get taken off the list. But it is what it is. And we actually got my girlfriend behind the camera today, guys, so maybe she'll become part of the team at one point. Hopefully not. Who knows? That's gonna be up to her. She already works from home, so maybe she could be an editor or whatnot. Talking about editing though, we do, after the whole game, which is probably gonna finish around 10, we do gotta get back home and finish off a couple of projects. We have a long form YouTube video that we are doing for one of my clients, and we also have another 2 short form reels that I do have to finish, so probably give you guys an update on that. Other than that, honestly, we don't got that much going on. It's just a chill night, honestly. And like I said, just because you are making a shitload of money, however much you are making as a videographer, doesn't mean that you gotta go ahead and spend it on like all these nice things. Or, you know, I like to be smart with my money, because the reality about the business is that it goes up and down. You are gonna have your good months, you are gonna have your bad months, you're gonna have your bad moments, you're gonna have moments where you question fucking everything that you've done in your life, and that's where you gotta keep your money safe, honestly. I like to think that I'm pretty smart when it comes to that. Not really. Sometimes I think a lot about my person, even the boat. My girlfriend's hand is actually like, she's struggling right now, but she'll get it. Okay, super quick, super quick. Should we put a bet on the United States? What do you think? Yes or no?
Maybe.
Okay, maybe. The only thing about putting a bet on USA is that
look how much. Let's say for example we wanted to put $500. $500 is only going to give us $88. 500 to win 588. Honestly, that's not a good payout at all. Now if you were to bet on Bosnia, 500 will literally give us almost $3,000. But the reality is that I'm not gonna bet against the US. The US have been playing amazing soccer, and I'm gonna call it soccer because Americans play soccer. Americans do not play football. It's that simple. But yeah, we're gonna catch you guys later. That's it. Alright guys, that was a couple of turns of events, I'm not gonna lie. But United States wins. We're gonna play Belgium in the next round. If I'm gonna be honest with you, I really love football, but I don't think that the United States is making it past Belgium. I do think they're playing very well. I think they're playing a good style of football. But they look great in the group stage. However, I think now against Bosnia, I don't know. Not too sure what happened there, but I wouldn't say they even have a chance against Belgium. So that's pretty much it for now, I guess, and then we're just gonna head back home.